Okay, this is segment 2. I'm going to try to post this stuff to YouTube, so it really can't be any longer than 10 minutes. Once again, it's Wednesday, November 14th. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get that first clip up. It ran a little bit longer than 10 minutes. Regardless, just going to press on and post up as many of these segments as I can. So if you're watching something that's sort of starting in midair, hopefully I can get them in sequence. So this is second little segment, morning, Wednesday, November 14th. So I addressed the provisional ballot crisis in Arizona, Obama's strategic attack against the Republican position, Boner being under a little pressure on his side, probably to stand pat on the Romney-Ryan trickle-down approach. So the other thing is, story number 3 is the layoffs. So Applebee's and Papa John's made a statement. Applebee's CEO said, no, that wasn't us, that was just some franchise owner. But Papa John's CEO basically said we're laying off people because of Obamacare. I did a little research on that, and thanks to some info that some people in my network put forward, they got me thinking along the lines. I think somebody tweeted that Applebee's was in Canada, that has universal health care, and they were wondering whether Papa John's was in the same boat. And I looked it up and found a picture of whatever the dude's name, John Freud or whatever, and who's CEO of Papa John's, and a big website saying welcome to Papa John's Canada. So they're definitely in Canada, which has universal health care. So what's the story? If you can operate successfully in a country that has universal health care, what's the deal? If you got that model, what's the deal? The deal is bullshit. Call bullshit on that one. Okay, next up, more local. So Washington State, Jay Inslee won by about 50,000 votes, something like that. 50,000 votes. He's in. Marijuana Initiative made it, with a caveat that federal law still has not changed. And ballot initiatives have to run the gauntlet of existing federal law and their own state constitutions. And speaking of state constitutions, Initiative 1240 for charter schools passed by a slim margin, about, 40,000 votes as well. King County rejected it, which, it's a state initiative, but that's just for note. King County rejected it. The Stranger, local newspaper here, alternative newspaper, quickly highlighted a key point, which is that state constitution prohibits the spending of public funds on schools other than public schools. Now, they might find some way to or get around that, but the Stranger went so far as to actually quoted the Constitution, and the wording looks pretty solid. Looks like the wording is expressly talking about public schools. Other types of schools you can't use public funds and call it a public school. So the Constitution has some problems with Initiative 1240, and I, frankly, talking to whoever is connected with the school district here, or local government here, or is just against Initiative 1240, I would strongly suggest school boards that will be affected, school districts that will be affected, especially here in Seattle, which did not vote for it, to challenge it legally. It is unconstitutional. So, all right. That's local news. Secretary of State. Secretary of State is Republican. The Union endorsed the Republican Secretary of State, which I think is as ridiculous as them not really taking a stronger stance against Initiative 1240 for charter schools. I think that's really bizarre that they would support the Republican Secretary of State, given the scandalous nature of Republican incursions into the state. I remember that the Attorney General from the last go-round who ran for governor was McKenna, and as Attorney General, without consulting the governor, sued against Obamacare from a blue state. You know, he had to sue Obamacare. He did it in our name. So putting these Republicans in key offices is a mistake. Is a big, giant, stinking turd of a mistake. So the union supported it. Our union here, WEA, is weak in no uncertain terms. And that's prima facie evidence right there of how weak it is. I don't care what this person is saying, if they're a GOP at this time, at this date and time, given the way these folks are operating in this state, that's a no-go. All right, one more piece on the local front. There was an 11 truck fire department response up on Beacon Hill last night around 9 o'clock. I've never seen that many fire trucks respond to something with my own eyes. I've seen it on television and movies, but not with my own eyes. And there was no fire to speak of that I could see. I don't know what that was about. I did some checking around on our local sites. If anybody knows what that, any satellites know what was going on, I'd appreciate it if you tweet it out and I retweet it. Okay, that leaves me a couple minutes just to give a little bit of do a little bit of editorializing, which I've been doing to a certain extent. Let's see. So, shout out to Michael the One, Sunshine, JC, Wary12, Liberty Bell, and all the others who helped, and New Deal, who helped P2 stand strong. People won this election. Wasn't Obama. Obama did a lot. They organized, OFA organized like nobody's business. Phenomenal. 2014. Got to get these Republicans out of the House. They're gerrymandering. By gerrymandering, they drew the redistricting lines to favor themselves. Now, I don't know how they do that without having to, having anybody else involved in that process. But, the House Democrats, the Senate, the President, I don't know how I'm not, up on how they can redistrict simply all by their lonesomes. But they redistricted. I sent out a tweet to Nancy Pelosi basically saying, if you had done it, drew up redistricting lines before an election and retained your majority because of it, what would they do? Whatever they would do, I would be thinking about doing the same thing right about now. Okay, on that note, November the 14th, Wednesday. Thanks a lot.